And this is raised to the power t times f plus $b 1 plus r over f raised to the power t times f. And future value of annuity, it is not any less ugly or dirty. $C r over f times 1 plus r over f t times f minus 1. Or as the Norwegians would call it, they are schmutzig. No, schmutzig is German. What is dirty?
That's Swedish.
Oh, Swedish. What's dirty? Oh, shitner.
Yes.
Maybe that's where the word shit comes from. But I made a joke once on Facebook. In schmutzig in Swedish or German, that refers to smut in English.
Germans don't take things.
Huh?
Germans don't take things.
In the immortal version of Harvey from Suits, that's kind of a you problem for them. Well, they know how to deal with terms, okay? All right, these are ugly formulas. If you want to memorize them, you memorize them. I know them by heart. That doesn't make me any better than you, and you shouldn't. Okay? I call these parlor tricks, yes.
If we want to roll a couple reading clicks under solvency,
R over F.
or over.
Yeah. Again, I just put those there to show you what you shouldn't memorize. Okay? If you don't know any of this formula, you're not going to lose anything in this class. Because I just build you Thor's hammer. Alright? Now, these are the nails. You got the hammer, we're going to use that. I already set it up. Since this is an entry-level class, I don't want to spend some time on the standard present value, future value, so you kind of know how that goes. Right here, I have a formula. Given the inputs, it calculates either present value or future value. It calculates a future value if this thing says future value, or if there's a green check mark. Come on. Hello. I hate Microsoft. They're the bottleneck to computation. I don't know if I ever told you guys the story of Microsoft first big job. In 1982, IBM decided that they're going to build personal computers, PCs. But they were making most of the money from mainframes. Okay. So they figured out there seems to be a market, so let's not get out of it. It was such a sideline thought for them, they didn't even want to develop anything. They just provided the hardware and that was it. Microsoft at that point had written an operating system for an 8-bit machine, Atari, and these IBM PCs were 16 bits. Now we have 64-bit machines, the standard ones. The better ones are 128. And they hired Microsoft to do it. And Bill Gates, being a businessman, normally you write an operating system in the so-called assembly language, the machine code. Okay, that's more efficient. Instead of writing a fresh code optimized for a 16-bit IBM PC, they wrote codes that told the IBM PC, you are an Atari. Okay, it's called an emulator. So when the computer starts, that code comes in, and suddenly PC believes it's an Atari. And once soon as PC believes that it's an Atari, they already have the code for the Atari. Voila. Yes, that is a mathematical way of solving the problem, but it is not efficient. Okay? We need speed. I always call that Microsoft bottleneck. Anyway, I made that just binary. It's gonna be either green or red, because we don't need the in between. So double clicking on those will change it. I'm in the solver mode. Let's go back to setup mode. In the setup mode, given the inputs, this cell left-hand formula tells you what the result is. So in this case, I'm doing present value, which means given the APR, frequency, time, periodic payment, and balloon payment, present value of, make this $200. So if you put in $200 a month and pay $200 a month for the next 40 years but weekly, $200 a week, I'm sorry, at 8%, that's equivalent to 124, all right? If I'm doing future value, starting with nothing, I'm gonna put $200 a week to my savings account, and that savings account is gonna earn 8% APR. 40 years from now, I'm gonna end up with 3 million and some change. Okay? Or 3,051,000. Concept of change. That's all you can do in the setup mode. Given the inputs, you read the output. So you just went to the car dealer. They're charging 8% APR. It's monthly for the next 7 years. They told you that you're gonna pay $400 a month. That means you bought a, because when you go to car dealers, these guys are, they should be called it car sales. Okay? All they care about is how to sell the car. If somebody tells you that that car is $45,000, that is psychologically off-putting. But if I tell you, oh, you only have to pay $400 a month. If that's what you can afford, that's it. People say yes to it without thinking, what did they just do? Or they ask you, what can you afford? Monthly payments, $200. Then the car you're gonna buy is a little bit over 24. That's probably a new Kia with some bells and whistles on it. On the other hand, that one is a Subaru Ram with all sorts of stuff. It makes a difference. So we're doing, oh, this is future value, I'm sorry. If you're doing present value, all right. But sometimes I'm gonna figure out, given the value of the car, how much do I need to pay? Now I know the end result, okay? So we're doing present value. So let's write the problem. I am going to finance a $25,000 car. They charge me 9% for 7 years monthly. What's my payment? Right? Again, there is a function in Excel to calculate that, but remember, that's kind of an ugly hammer. I don't want you to have 5 different hammers. You're going to have one power tool that's close. And here's how we're going to do it. First, among these inputs, what is it that we don't know? Payment, right? So I'm going to go ahead here. I already had that selected, so I'm just going to do it here. By the way, to be able to do that, you don't need any code. So there is something called data validation. You just provide a list of things that will enter into drop-down box, and the user can only choose those. That's what I need to solve for. Okay, my APR is 9%. I'm doing monthly for 7 years. I don't know the payment. There is no balloon payment. and the present value. In this case, I know what that is. The value of the car now. Okay? All I have to do is to solve it, go into solver mode. Done. And this is basically the difference between left and right. Always make sure that it is either zero or a very small number. Because remember, this is a numerical algorithm. Sometimes it stops early. And this is my tolerance. The mistake that I tolerate is 1 in a million. You know, when you're trying to figure out percents, even that probably is too, how about 100 in a million? Or 1 in a 10,000. 1 in a 10,000 is roughly 1% of 1 cent. Either way, well, that's going to be a $402 payment. What if I want to make weekly payments? Or sometimes they tell you, how about you make 2 payments a month? Okay? Keep that in mind, 402.23. If I do 2 payments a month, that means I'm going to make 24 payments per year, 284. 2 times that is actually less than 402. Not by too much, but it is. You want to make weekly payments? For example, the renter center over there, they kind of charge you weekly payments. That's 52. So you make $92 payment per week. Obviously, there are more than 4 weeks in a year, in a month, but